Hey guys, Annie here. Welcome back to the channel and welcome to another speed build. Today we are in the world of Nordhaven and more specifically in I think it's the Eisenstad section of the world, which is the upper left section of the world, which has the more industrial kind of feel. It's all at the waterfront side. And today we are building a pottery studio and tattoo parlor combined. And yeah, so I built this build a long time ago. And this was the second build that I built with the pack, Sims 4 Businesses and Hobbies, when it arrived. And obviously back in March, you would have seen that I had built a candy store, and that was very much in that traditional style. And then this is being my second build. I wanted to build something a little bit more industrial. And this is the basic shape of this build. It does change that bump out that we just put in there with this ceiling. That all gets removed. I, at one stage, wanted to kind of make it very sectioned in a way that you had pottery in one part of the bottom floor and then the tattoo parlor in the second. But in the end, it just kind of worked out easier to have it all just be in one floor and to just use the room dividers. So the room dividers that we got in this pack were really helpful in conveying that there is separation within the build. I think the other way that I could have done it that would have made a little bit more sense as well would have been platforms. If you had, I don't know, made one area higher than the other, that might have implied that, you know, there's on different levels, split leveling. And yeah. All right, so this is our basic shape. This uses pretty much all the packs, I believe. I use a lot of packs. This particular build is on the Sims 4 gallery if you would like. Gallery ID is Antoinette44. It is down in the description below. All right, so this turns out to be a 2x1 bedroom house on top, I guess apartment, on top of the business. And so when you walk in, you have your pottery section. And then as you kind of go through the center of the bottom floor, you've got kind of some selling tables where you could sell your pottery. And then you have the two separate bump out rooms areas, I guess, which are for the tattooing. I didn't put a toilet, like a public toilet in this build. I did just realize that. So that is probably a downside to this build, is that obviously your parents don't have anywhere to go to the bathroom. The upstairs obviously does, which we are mapping out the floor plan for now. So this is the upstairs. It was a weird shape, and I at first thought that I was only going to be able to do a 1-bedroom house, but I actually was able to fit a kitchen, dining, and living room in that little section that you see there. And I was very proud of myself. So this particular build, it has obviously your master bedroom, and I think it has a toddler's room, a bathroom, and then just that open area which has kitchen, dining, living, and I believe there's like a bookshelf that I've tucked away in the corner. So I would say the outside of this build obviously is very industrial. I did try to keep the interior a little bit more on the modern side, just because that's what goes with the industrial style. A lot of darker colors, a darker color palette for sure for this particular build. This is the Home Chef Hustle kitchen set. We use a little bit of the refined living room in the living room. I have really been loving lately those TVs that are like picture frames. I think because I recently got the the Modern Chic kit or something, and like that's where they first appeared in the game, and like I love them, and especially for, again, a modern build, it just makes more sense. The lighting on this particular lot was a bit of an issue. And to be fair, I would say the lighting in this world in general has actually been the one thing that I've found. I've built four builds, four builds in this world of Nordhaven, and it is my number one gripe is like the lighting and the positioning on the lot of the lot. So like a lot of the, I'm having to put extra lights in bedrooms because just where I've placed the bedroom on the floor plan, there's not enough light that gets into it. So I think that that's a consideration to take into when you are building in Nordhaven and you're doing a floor plan, is to make sure that rooms where you want a lot of light are going to get a lot of light. All right, so we're putting in my favorite flooring in the entire game. I think it is wonderful. I will probably use it non-stop. I just love the texture of it. I love the size of the planks, and I like the colors. I think they're very complementary. I went with a brown because that's going to match the wallpaper that we're putting in, I believe. So yeah. Eco Lifestyle was really good with this pack as well. So that front window, I just wanted something a little bit different to the base game kind of warehouse type windows that I was using. The ones that are here, these arched windows, and the plain, long skinny glass windows from base game. So yeah, I wanted like a focal point, but also the frieze on this particular build is also from Eco Lifestyle. And yeah, what else can I say? Oh, this paneling, lovely. It pairs really well, and what I've done is I've taken that paneling and made it as like an accent wall, but the majority of the build is this beautiful brick, and this was kind of my inspiration for the whole build. I really wanted to use this brick wallpaper. It was one of my favorites. It's one that I don't know if you can see from the video, but it's got kind of like, it's like dual colored, like it's not, as you can see there, it's kind of got like little dark sections within the brick. I really like it. It makes it a little bit more dimensional as a color, and yeah, I just really like it. So I just go around and I kind of keep that color scheme throughout the whole build. So I just make like sections of walls into that paneling and then leave the rest in the brick. All right, so we are downstairs in, I guess you could say, the business portion of the property. Oh, we're jumping back upstairs. I think we're finishing the bedroom, maybe. I do jump around. This is the new bed that came with the pack. I originally was going to use those industrial end tables that come with the industrial loft kit, but I didn't like the dresser, and I found that those particular end tables didn't really go with anything else that we had in the game. So I actually went with the ones with Life and Death. And that's because they had a very basic metal type drawer, and they were black, and it was just very easy to pair. And I feel like when I do a lot of industrial builds, you're using a lot of textures and metals and those type of items. And that's why I've used this bookend, I've used this dresser. Obviously the mirror comes with a new pack. I actually got to use, I don't know what type of plant that is, but that's also from the new pack. And it is quite on the larger scale. So it is a little bit clunky to use, but it looks okay sized down. So yeah. All right, so I don't do too much in this bedroom. I do keep it fairly minimal. So I've just got some clutter on the dresser, the plant obviously, and I believe I put in a chair maybe. These outdoor lanterns, I thought they were really cool. And again, they were like that metal. So I wanted to use them just to add more, I don't know, different materials within the build, within the space. Okay, we are back to that little part of, I guess it's a little hallway of this entire build. And I think this is really cool. So I just put a buffet table, and on that far wall by the window there, I do put in a bookcase, and it was just a really sneaky way to add in a little bit more furniture. As I said, I was very impressed with the amount that I could fit in such a small space. It's a very small apartment. And yeah. And I think it's because obviously like with last week I've been doing some tiny builds, so tiny home builds. So maybe it's prepped me for this type of building. So yeah. Um yeah, I'm putting some decals and some photos around the build just to clutter up the walls. I really like these photos that come with the refined living room kit. I my only regret for this particular build is whether the wall, like the frame of the photo, is complementary to what the colors we're using. I feel that it's not dark enough. So maybe if I was to go back, I probably would delete that window, that photograph, and potentially use something else. All right, we are in the bathroom. So this is the only bathroom in this entire building. Obviously, business included. I've used the new mirror, the new tub, the new sink. I love that new sink. I have put this plant everywhere. It just suits. And I've used the new tile flooring, like a darker color. And then I've just, kept it very simple. And I think I do put in a toddler potty as I'm building this particular room because I remember. I'm putting in these tiny windows. So this side was hard because we had the bathroom on that side, and we also had that what is it called? That roof, that particular roof that's angled. So I didn't want to put a tall window because it kind of goes into the roof. So I use these smaller windows. I believe these are from the pack. I believe. And I thought they were all right, but I wanted a little bit more detail on that side of the building because it looked a bit bare. All right, so I've gone in with a lot of base game, growing together. Obviously, kind of got a little bit of a space theme going on with that particular rug from base game. I love the rocking chairs from Growing Together. I just think that it's so cute to have like a little section with a chair and like you're reading. We put in, I think its name's Benjamin. Or is it Benjamin? Anyway, it's the burglar kind of Bluffy toy that we got with this particular pack. So I've gone with the red swatch with that. I love this new lamp. It's so simple but elegant. Just swapping that out for a change table because I remember that we had a toddler bed, and then kind of this worn toy box. And I used like this decorative toy box from the storybook nursery kit. I thought it was nice. I don't usually use it because I think I don't know, that particular kit, I like it, but I don't like it. And I always forget to use items from there. Alrighty, but that's basically the entire apartment. I think I just need to put upper cabinets in, which we probably do towards the end. So now we are down in the business portion of the building, and I start by placing these wooden dividers, which are going to allow me to determine where I'm going to put the tattoo parlors. Well, not the tattoo rooms or areas, I guess. So you've got two. You've got the one at the far back and then the one to the side. I believe the one at the back, this one here, is a little bit bigger than the one that's kind of tucked to the side by the stairs. But they fit the same amount of furniture items, so you'll see in a minute. All right, and then I had this little section here, and I thought, why not put the selling tables or shelves, I guess. And then as you walk back to the front of the build, you've got your pottery sections. And then I do include a whiteboard for the lectures and the lessons, which I think is really important because I didn't include it in the first build that I ever created, which was the candy store, which is fine because, you know, that particular build, it didn't have a very, that was very much, I make candy, I sell. This is like a creative skill. I suppose cooking is a skill. Anyway, you kind of get my point. All right, so this is the majority of the build. I'm just going around now and cluttering up the space and obviously putting in those tattoo tables and putting in our selling sections. So there's two different dividers that came with the game. One more Scandinavian, that you've got like this kind of standard room divider that we've seen a lot in the game. And then this more solid room dividers. I've used a combination of both. I think the solid ones just give off more privacy, which is really good for the tattoo sections. So as you can see, one's smaller than the other, but they fit around the same amount of stuff. The other item that I wanted to use in this particular build that I didn't use in my first build was fairy lights. We got a ton of fairy lights with this particular build. So I decided to put some fairy lights in the tattoo sections. I think it just makes a little bit more sense. But it also added to those areas, but still fit within the space, you know, because I do definitely want to do kind of like a dark, grungy style tattoo parlor. I think that would be amazing. And I think that there are a lot of assets that came with the pack that lean towards that. But I wanted this to still fit in with the pottery side of this building. So yeah, I didn't go too overboard with the decorations. All right, I love these modern lamps. They are my favorite, one of my favorite pieces of this particular pack. I will be using them a lot, I think. I put in one of those entrance things, and I do sneak in a laptop and a desk, which is really good because I don't believe I put one in the upstairs. So I guess that gives the owners of the build a computer. I love this drain pipe detail. So I put that in because I felt that it really fit the industrial vibe. I could only really put a mirror in one of these tattoo sections, but I think that's okay. But yeah, so this is basically the selling area. It's not a big area, but it's kind of just there to sell some pottery items. And I think it's more that that pottery section is to host classes and to teach the skill. It's not really a pottery shop, I guess. And yeah, I think so. I did sorry, I did create a household to play in this particular build because I really enjoyed this build. I think they're the Durham household. They're on my gallery as well. They're a husband and wife, and I think the husband is the owner of the business and he's really into tattooing, and the wife is really into the pottery side. So yeah, if that interests you, there is actually a family that I built to kind of go with this particular pack. So yeah. All right, we are very much into the landscaping. So I've just kind of put in a very small faux carport, which is car park, sorry, which is what I'm doing now. And then I just kept it very simple. I added in these new bikes that we got in this smaller section. I thought that's kind of a little bit cute. I don't know if it's realistic if you would really put your bikes like that, but I had the space and it made sense. I just used tall cypress trees and I just paved a lot of this. I wanted to keep it very paved. I felt that it made a little bit more sense. I believe I just use ferns. I might use some shrubs, maybe some low-laying flowers potentially. I didn't want to add too much color to this build because I didn't want to take away from the building. And with it being a little bit more industrial, you know, you're not going to have like pink daisies next to a warehouse building. Alrighty, so we're just putting some dirt under all of our plants and shrubs. And I believe we are just putting in the final touches. So I've got to put in our signs for our business. And I think I forgot to do this in a couple of my builds that you'll see next week. I forgot to put in the signs, but that's okay. So I've got a pottery and I've got the tattoo sign. All right, we are live in game. And we are going through the tour. So you walk in and you have that pottery section. You've got a place to teach a class. You've got pottery. You've got your kilns. you've got a selling area, and then you go into the tattoo rooms or areas. And I'm just going to change the color of the lights, I believe. And maybe these, yeah, and these plant pots. So I've used all 3 plants, all 4 plants that come with this particular pack in this build. I love them all. All right, we are upstairs into the apartment. So I believe I am going to add some cabinetry in because I've been forgetting to do that recently. So as you can see, you walk up, you have a small dining, you have a kitchen, I have a living room, and you do have a bookcase. I would have loved to have put a chess table and a little bit more skill building, but it was a very, very small apartment. And I was very proud that I could actually fit 2 bedrooms in this space. And then you go into the bathroom, which is a decent sized bathroom. I do have that toddler potty, your toddler's room, and finally you have the master bedroom, which I really like this space. I think it's quite calming. The outside just has some very simple landscaping, and yeah, that is the build today, guys. I hope you liked it, and I hope you have a wonderful day, and I will see you in the next one. Bye bye for now.